We've just had what we consider in this part of the world our new year for the traditional culture, the Maori people, not Maori. Maori is a Maori, is a construct, a legal construct. The Maori, Mauri people, which is not the construct, which is, in my understanding, the nature of the traditional culture themselves, were Maori, not Maori, Maori people. Their new year is symbolized by the rising of the Pleiades star cluster on the horizon after 2 months or a month, I think it's a month or 2 months of it vanishing from sight. And when it rises up in the winter, it is the beginning of the Maori New Year. It's a time of harvest. It's a time when all the crops are brought in. The harvest, metaphorically, and the harvest physically of all the crops is brought in for the winter, in my understanding. And I was in Auckland for Matariki, for the celebration, which is now a public holiday in this part of the world, due to the acknowledgement of the Maori people and of this traditionally, culturally New Year celebration. And one of my practitioners who I see, who practices a form of deep tissue Maori healing body work called RomiRomi, Sarah, I went and got some work with her. I think it was, what day is it today? Today is Wednesday. I got some work with her on Monday. And she talked about Matariki and about my experience of Matariki in regards to what had happened for me. And it was about what, and bringing this into the Matariki idea, was what have you brought in regards to your harvest for the new year? What have you brought in for the last year of your life? What have all the elements of your life experience that you have brought into your moment here in the new year, and how have you shifted and changed in regards to your experience and who you are in this moment moving forward from that new year experience? Moving forward from there, who have you become? What have you learned? What have you embodied? What have you understood, acknowledged, and integrated from, in order to move into this new phase of existence in regards to the Maori New Year, Matariki, when the Pleiades rises on the horizon. And for us that day was the 15th, 16th of July. So I think it was the 15th, 16th of July. So 14th, 15th, 16th of July. The rising of Matariki in the horizon, the Maori New Year. And for me, what I learned about myself in the last 12 months has been essentially a massive shift in relation to other people and how I connect with them, and how my chance to embody the sacred masculine in my life has brought me to a place of deeper feeling of acknowledgement of my own inner soulmate, in the way that I'm able to embody both the feminine and masculine attributes within my body, within my frame, within my being, my avatar, within my consciousness and my awareness, and taking that out into the world and then projecting that resonance out into the world. And what I truly feel comfortable in regards to the connections I have with my friends and my beloved friends, because like my friends, who are the people who are in my life now, I look at them, the ones that I'm very close to, and the ones who are still on the periphery of me becoming very close with them. My ability to love and to embrace and to accept and to connect with them in this way of feeling safe in my connections with them in regards to relationship has changed immensely in the last year. And I'm able to hold the space in my life where I can come to them in my connection with them with authenticity, openness, vulnerability, honesty, and integrity, most importantly. And in that way, I'm able to speak my truth and speak it in a way that the people that know when I speak, when my word is passed and the words come out of my mouth, I have the integrity to back up what I say. My word is my law, so my word is law unto me, and whatever it comes out of my mouth, I'm going to back it up with my actions. And that for me has something very new to me, because in the past I did not have the will or the integrity or the awareness to be able to come from this place. And it's amazing in my experience of being this man, honoring the sacred masculine through my integrity, holding that energy in my being, and moving from that place of deep sense of integrity, deep sense of awareness that this is how the sacred masculine operates for me in my perception, in my reality, not anybody else's perception, in my reality. The integrity, your word is law unto you, and when you speak it, when you give your word through your act, through your use of it, you are creating. You are creating. And for me, in the last 12 months, when I speak my word, I will fucking do something. I will do exactly what I say. I will hold my word as law. When I say something, I'll do it. And when I say something in regards to my affection towards somebody else, I mean it. I mean it. I genuinely mean it. And that balance of the feminine too, I become very soft and very also, for me, in regards to my perspective of the feminine, very open to receive, very open to stillness and peace, and very open to a greater sense of connection to the planetary consciousness in a way that I didn't have 12 months ago. And for me, that comes from a deep place of stillness. And, in the past for me, a great deal of my experience when it came to connecting with other people, I still have these moments where I used to compare myself with somebody else's life, compare my life with somebody else's life. And in that way, I would distort my own ability to be where I was, because I was projecting my consciousness into a place that was unhealthy, because I wanted to access that part of of existence that was not aligning with me in that moment. I wasn't jealous. It was just me projecting my consciousness in a way that was looking at someone else's life and going like, oh, I'm comparing my own life right now to their life and going like, I want to be able to share their experience and have that experience for myself, without looking at where I was at and going like, oh, where I am right now is a place of deep stillness and a deep sense of calmness, and also integration from my experiences of the last few months, wherever I'd been and whatever I'd done. So therefore, me projecting my consciousness into being somewhere else in that way was not honoring the feminine aspect of myself, which is to come back to sit with the energies of my assertive movements, of my learnings, of my connections, of my movements, of my journeys outside of Wellington, and even in Wellington, and my connections, and not honoring that moment, that time, to sit back with that energy and integrate with that energy, with the knowledge, with the understanding, and then embody that new sense of self, and then allow that embodiment to resonate out into the world in a masculine way, in a masculine, assertive way that's not pushy, but holds a strength and integrity. And that's my sacred masculine. So when Sarah said to me, after I had my deep tissue work, and I was completely not out of my body as such, but I was definitely felt a lot of release of trauma and from my body, because the whole idea of RomiRomi is when before the Europeans came, and probably even while the Europeans were colonizing this country, these islands, the Maori warriors would come back to the marae, and the practitioners would go outside the marae and then work on the bodies of the Maori warriors who came back to release the energies of a battle or from hunting, or release any energies they had caught up in their bodies. So when they entered back into the marae again, they were free of that energy, and the marae space, the sacred space of the marae where everyone lived, was not polluted or not, they didn't bring that energy into the marae, and therefore by doing that, it cleared the energy, them energetically, and left the energy outside the marae. They come into the marae cleansed and grounded. And for me, after my experience I had with Sarah, I definitely felt that as well. And she talked to me about the whole idea of Matariki and how you are basically harvesting your energy of the last year. And what did you get from your last year? What did you discover about yourself from the last year? What have you left behind from last year? What is no longer serving you? What have you left behind, and what are you integrating with now? What have you embodied? What have you understood and acknowledged? And what have you brought into your life? How are you going to move forward with what you now know in this new year? It was like penny dropping. Wow, amazing. Because in my life, in regards to a relationship, I have learned about myself, especially in this last 6 months, in regards to a relationship, what I'm available for and what I'm able to bring to a connection and to a relationship. And I made a choice. I made one choice this summer to be with one woman, and I was willing to embody everything I possibly, all my attributes that I had taken and understood and also aligned with up until that moment. I was willing to give my heart, my soul, everything. I was willing to give everything I possibly could to that connection for that short time that we were going to be together due to the nature of our alignments in regards to where we were going with our lives. But our paths were not going to move. We're not going to surge forward. They were going to be running perhaps parallel for maybe 3 or 4 months at the most. And then she would be off doing her thing, I'll be off doing my thing. And that was how it was going to roll. But due to the nature of that and the fact that we weren't going to align, she made a decision to say, no, I'm not going to be part of this connection anymore in this way because it doesn't align with me. I respect that completely. I totally respect that. But for me to come to a place of understanding what I was available for in that connection and in my integrity, stepping forward and saying, this is what I'm available for in this connection. This is what I can bring to this connection. Would you like to be a part of it? Making the offer. And the offer was turned down. No, I'm good, thank you. I'm going to do my own thing. I have a vision of where I want to go in my life and who I want to bring into my life and how that's going to all manifest for me. I'm off to create it. And in that sense, to see her in her masculine phase and also in her alignment with her feminine phase, because she's been receptive to be able to create that which she wants to create, but she's going back through the actions and through her actions and her acknowledgement and her integration of her own understanding of embodying that energy to bring that companion into her life and to create her dream in regards to her career and around what she does and what she's passionate about. It's going to manifest for her for sure, because you can see the energies aligning with her, aligning in a way that's going to bring it into her life, that which she wants to create. And for me, at this time in my life and Matariki, I really felt like I was, up until that moment, I was really slowing down into a place of deep stillness and receptivity, but also integration, acknowledgement, and embodiment of what I'd learnt over the last 12 months. And then when Sarah told me this after my treatment, I was like I said before, penny drops. I understand that for me in the last 12 months, it really has been about where I am now and what I've integrated with and how I choose to move forward with this integration and the embodiment of what I've learned in the last 12 months. And that, my friends, is a very special place to be. And I'm very humbled and grateful to be where I am in my life. It's taken me a long time to get here, and I've done a lot of work to get to where I am. And the greatest test of all for me in my life at this time is how I choose to relate to other men and women. And thus far, it's been fantastic. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. Matewa. And happy Matariki. Happy New Year.